If when you're making something out of clay and you want to be very precise, it's a really good idea to make a template. So I'm going to be making a cardboard rocket ship. So in order to make sure all of my pieces are the correct size, I'm going to make a template to make sure I have 4 equal sides and then 4 equal triangles to go on the top. So I'm just going to take some stiffer paper. It doesn't really matter too much what kind of paper you use, just as long as it's sturdy and will hold up if you need it more than once. If you don't need it more than once, any kind of paper will do. So I'm just going to measure out my sides to make sure they're the same. And then I'll just cut this out. And I'm going to need some triangles for the top, so I'm just going to make that right away as well. Alright, so I have my templates created and we should be ready to go. This is already pre-wedged, so I don't really need to do too much with it to get it ready. First I'm going to open up the bag so I have some room here, and then I'm going to use these wire cutters to cut off a chunk of the clay. So since I don't need this entire piece here, I'm going to cut in the middle and bring the wire back up. You can clean the wire off like that, and then just line up my wire for the desired thickness and pull in a smooth motion, trying to stay at the same level all the way across. And from there, I have a nice chunk of clay. Now, when you finish using clay, it's really important that you wrap it up well so that it doesn't dry out. It's quite a nuisance to have to rework your clay. So I'm going to tuck the plastic in, get the air out, and wrap it around. Then set it down on top of the fold. That's going to keep it down. Alright, so our slab is ready to go. It's been smoothed out with a rib. And I'm just going to set my template down. Try and find the best location for it. Just kind of press it down so it stays as much as I can on the clay. And I'm just going to very carefully stay right along the edges as I cut. Trying not to pull much clay with me. I don't want to distort it. And I will say, every time you pick up your slab and move it, it does warp. So it's a good idea to kind of leave it alone as much as you can so that it doesn't warp out of shape. Especially, for example, this one is only 1 ruler width thick, so it's going to warp a lot more easily than a thicker slab would. And there we go, a nice rectangular slab. So just like I mentioned earlier, you want to be extra careful when you move it so that it stays as flat and in its correct shape as you possibly can keep it.